Hey, I'm Phil Eichmiller.
Phil is a senior QA engineer on the Autodesk Fusion team and is an expert at teaching Fusion.
What their question is.
All right, let's check it out. Can't render glass properly. For months I've been trying to render glass, but it always ends up looking kind of glitchy. If it's rendered by itself, it looks fine, but when I have another material inside, it always looks like this, and can't find anything online that helps me solve it. Okay, well, the problem that is going on here is that when the rendering engine it's a rapid ray tracing engine, which means it's figuring out where all the light rays are going. And when two materials are stuck side by side like that, their faces are actually coincident, and so let's say that ray tracer is confused about which of those materials to show. It has to give properties to the light ray that passes through that sort of interface. It's actually kind of a common problem with ray tracers. Look at what I've got. I've got a little glass coffee cup, but we need to fill it with something to be delicious. Let's put a work plane in. Now, the work plane, what it's going to help us do is create a boundary condition that we can exploit using the boundary fill command. And boundary fill, what it does is it says if you have some boundaries like this surface and this surface, and it makes, you could call it airtight void or something like that, or in this case a watertight void, Fusion offers to fill that up with some material. So let's see, it wants to know the tools. So that's a tool, that's a tool. Once it has enough tools to create some sort of closed thing, it starts offering you which cell you want to pick. So I'm going to say I want to select a cell, and this takes a little bit of watching to see. Like this one is, that's the cell, that's the glass, there's the possible liquid, and then that's the top half of the glass. So that plane split the glass, and so one of the cells could be what's the intersection of the plane and the glass, but that thing in the middle is what we're after. So you can tell by the highlighting, it's a little subtle, but if you just mouse around a little bit, you'll find it. Let's have it make a new body. Don't remove tools or everything will disappear. And boom, there we have. We have a nice cup of steel now. It's filled with steel. So we have to add some materials. There's a physical material in which you could go find liquid, and you can make that into some kind of water. So mathematically we're correct. And it took the water and actually applied the appearance from it. Now, I did play with this earlier, so I made a water that looks a little bit more like something you would drink. That looks a little bit like coffee. When we render it, it gets a little bit lighter. I'm not sure exactly why. I didn't spend enough time with it to know for sure. So we're set up. Let's go to our render environment. And let's just hit render, see what happens. So again, I didn't spend enough time with the material to get it to look like coffee for some reason, but this does show the problem, and you can see all the patchwork quilt that starts to show up where all of these things kind of are trying to fight for attention from the camera. What are the things that is supposed to work? So I use a different method that's a little bit more hands-on, a little more straightforward, and it involves the offset command. So first of all, let's name our bodies. It helps to know what it is you have. And it's our liquid. So turn off the glass. All we need to do is make the glass and the liquid not touch each other. That's a pretty simple thing. So if we just go to press pull and just pick a face on this thing, 0.05. That's just a fraction of a millimeter. Click OK. Turn on the glass. I don't know if you can see it yet, but there's a tiny gap there. Let's go ahead and go back to render and see if we just get a better appearance. And you have a nice glass without the patchwork quilt appearing on it. Now there are some lighting things going on here because light is going through a really highly reflective and transparent material, which is the glass, but this should get you where you want to go when it comes to rendering liquids in glass. One last thing about the tiny gap. The reason that works so well for me is because the inside of the cup is tangent. So all of the surfaces just run together. And so if you move one of them, all of them have to go with it. So offset says, well, if I'm going to offset this face, I'm going to grab all of them. If there was any hard breaks in there, I would have to go select all the faces that need to offset at the same time. But you should be fairly quickly able to get something that's inside of a bottle or a cup to go to offset inward by a tiny, tiny fraction of a millimeter. Play with it, see if you can get the right effect that you're looking for.